Hi there, welcome to Cooking with Chef Monica, Spices 101, B as in boyfriend or beer or whatever you want to say. So we're going to talk about the most basic of all spices, which would be salt and pepper. And I know you're probably wondering why I'm talking about salt and pepper, because I use a myriad of a million other spices normally. But I do think it's important to understand what all the different types of salts do and how to use them, and also the basics of pepper. So I do want to preface that with saying that I'll never see salt and pepper shakers on the tables out in our dining room, mostly because I've spent so much time seasoning the food adequately and tasting and retasting to make sure that it tastes adequate, that I don't want people to dump a bunch of salt on it without tasting it first. So I am the salt police. If you ask for it, I'll give it to you, but I'm not going to let you do it without asking. So, okay, we're going to start off with pepper, and you will never see just plain black pepper ground in my kitchen. In fact, I don't even think I own any. So we're going to talk about the mixed peppercorns here. Sometimes you'll see them called peppercorn mélange, or sometimes, for whatever goofy reason, they'll be called tricolor pepper blend, which is highly perplexing because there's 4 colors of pepper in here. So there are the green peppercorns, which are the very young peppercorns, the unaged ones. The black ones, which of course are the older peppercorns, or the aged ones. And then the white peppercorns, which are basically the black peppercorns without, where are they? Here they are. Black peppercorns without the black part on there. And the pink peppercorns aren't even really a peppercorn. They're actually the berry from a bush called the Brazilian pepper bush. It's similar to juniper berry. So that's my pepper, and I always want to grate it fresh as opposed to having pre-ground, because it has much better flavor that way. Now, salt is a multitude of complexity. I generally cook with kosher salt. Here's your good kosher salt. The reason I cook with kosher salt, A, because I like the big granules. I can see that I've added it. B, it generally speaking per teaspoon has less sodium than the other types of salts, mostly just because it takes up less of the volume, so you get a little bit less salt per unit there. And the reason it's called kosher is because it's often used to season meat to draw the blood out of it to make the meat kosher, so hence the name kosher salt. I don't generally use regular table salt because it generally has iodine added to it, and also sometimes has anti-caking agents in it, and I don't like having it adulterated like that. So sea salts are usually not used so much for cooking. They're generally more typically used for what they call finishing salts, meaning you add it at the very end of cooking as almost a garnish, especially with things like vegetables and fish that need to be delicately seasoned. Sea salt tends to have a much milder, more unique, delicate flavor. This one's just the really finely ground sea salt. And you can see over here I have the big granules, which have to be grated because they won't break down otherwise. And then you get into the kind of like shishi sea salts. Sea salt essentially comes from evaporating seawater, and anywhere in the world that you go, you're going to have a different flavored salt, and it's going to be filled with different types of minerals in them. So this one, for example, came from Morocco, and this is actually a lava salt. So it came from a lava bed, and you can see it's got all those little black dots in there from the lava, and it has a very distinct, almost lava-y smell to it. Is that a word? Lava-y? This one here is the pink Himalayan salt, which is purportedly great because it has a lot of great minerals in it. And actually the place that I get my butter from, they put some of this in their salted butter, so it has a really great flavor and it's supposed to be healthy for you. I always like to talk about salt the way I talk about wine. You've heard the term terroir, which basically means the soil or the earth that it comes from. Like cheese, like wine, like coffee, wherever you get these foods from are going to have a different flavor component or flavor profile based on the soil and what minerals are in the soil. So it's kind of fun to do salt tastings from all over the world, and also maybe pair them with wine tastings or cheeses from the same region and see if you can taste all the similarities between those. So that's salts and peppers 101B. Next time we'll come up with 101C. I don't know, probably chilies maybe. So we'll see you next time. Thanks for following us, and it's Facebook, Chestnut Street Inn, or www.chestnut-inn.com. Bye-bye. Did you turn me off?
Won't stop.
It won't stop.